And that is lights out. Away we go. Maxi Rodriguez have a great start. Enzo Tebani shouldn't lose out a lot as well. He's even gaining on Maxi Rodriguez, who's squeezing him into turn 1. And they are side by side into turn 1. Maxi Rodriguez has to back out of it. Gets forced off by Enzo Tebani, who takes the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Tony Visey and Kyle Pulkkinen also making up places on the Alpine driver. There's also a cast of Mattia trying to make a move with a little bit of a touch from Jacob Algos. I believe he's got wing damage, 3 wide, 4 wide even, into turn 3. Enzo Tebani on the lead of the Grand Prix. Kyle Pulkkinen chasing down Tony Visey, maybe even going for a dive into turn 4. But the Alfa Romeo driver decides to stay right behind him as Jacob Algos is losing place. We could see him with too late of a braking event. There is 3 drivers just taking each other out in the back of the field, but all should recover safely. Not the greatest start for Goring, Chukfuma and Alex. This will definitely be reported as Maxi Rodriguez is out already. And although he survived that incident, Rensbon's out as well. He causes out full course yellow, which is a virtual safety car for now. And Garen goes for the pits, hoping for a cheap pit stop or just having weak damage and being lucky. Same as Leon Baumgarten. We've seen definitely cleaner race start in Britain. And Garen basically goes for the mediums, so I don't know what's happened there. Maybe they didn't fix his... Yeah, they didn't fix his front wing. Drive-through penalty for Chibukachukwu makes it a disaster weekend for both Mercedes drivers. Francesco Lago with the fast lap of the race so far. Kyle Pulkkinen breezes past through Anthony Visey to get into second place. And I think he should be even on DRS of Enzo Tebani, but possibly looking for a move on the next straight. He must do it now, and he does it. Little bit of an effort. Just to use DRS a little bit. Panos Nicolaidis goes for a move on his teammate. That is very interesting between these two drivers. Visey is closing down on Kyle Pulkkinen though, so he might be completing a move into turn 2 and not really bother. The gap is already 1.7 seconds. He goes down the inside to turn 3 and makes it stick for second position. And I think he's not going to have DRS, so Kyle Pulkkinen might just fight back, which also helps Enzo Tebani if he wants to win for the first time in the Ero F1. Botta goes for a move on Morgan Mattia. That was a heavy launch from the Romanian. Maybe a little bit of a contact between him and Mattia, who's going for a move around the outside now, and he's backed out of it. Oh no, that is a spin from Visey, who is now losing all of the places down to 11th. You've got that DRS power, so use it to your advantage. You've regained 5% compared to last lap, although you've been using it for quite a bit. He's just elevated right now. He's going down the inside of the Alfa Romeo driver, and the Formula 2 driver is in second place. So if any F1 teams want to sign him, then this is your time to do so. Marco Botta on second place now, which is this particular straight. He goes around the outside into turn 4. Marco Botta should not make any moves, and that is correct. Although Kyle Pulkkinen not having the greatest of entries nor exits. Who's also going to the pits, Lago. That is early. Is he going for the medium tires? This is now the question we are asking. What is the strategy gamble we now start trying to pull out? And I know I've just missed out on Kyle Pulkkinen being overtaken by Marco Botta, which only loses them time to Enzo Tebani, although Enzo Tebani is probably cruising because he hasn't gained anything. Kyle Pulkkinen deciding not to make any moves into turn 4 as Jacob Algos goes off. And the great weekend so far may turn into pieces as Panos Nicolaidis is now close to him. Will go around the outside of the Ferrari driver. And now down the inside into turn 6. He's done the job. In got 5th place. Jacob Algos lost valuable time. And DRS touched to the driver fighting for the podium directly. If you look at the sky, I wish you could see it from this perspective. Jacob Algos gets a physical time penalty. Kyle Pulkkinen overtakes Botta. They stopped me from talking about the sky. You can look how kind of dark it got. Although Botta is now side by side with Pulkkinen, so we shouldn't really focus on that. And Botta is ahead of Pulkkinen and in the second place. What I mean is rain happening? That is the question. The gap between first and second is 3.6 seconds, by the way. So Enzo Tebani doing a Verstappen simulator, where you can only win by 30 seconds or you fail the challenge and get enough of time penalties to drop to 5th. Pulkkinen ahead of Botta again. As Botta chasing down Pulkkinen, down the inside he goes for second place. But Kyle Pulkkinen is going to perform a beautiful switchback to get him back into second. So not the greatest of moves from Marco Botta, although it was a great idea and it was exciting, so we love that one. We've already gone halfway through it. It's been exciting so far, as Ryan makes a move on both Aston Martins. to get into 5th place. Bota for a move on Pulkin, and there could have been a little bit of a contact there, but both are leaving this unscathed with just a little bit of a change. Bota is now ahead. It's raining already though, so we didn't expect that to happen. Actually, we expected, but I thought it could be a matter of couple of laps, but it's already there. It's raining here in Austria as Karel Pulkkinen uses DRS power to overtake Marco Bottas when it's still possible and get into 2nd place. Soon. Lago decided not to waste any more time. Just goes ahead of Nikolaidis for position number 6, although it was kinda dangerous because he's just going to make a move on Ryan right now. He does it at this very moment. And Gallian spins round, which might suggest Inters are coming, as Lago uses Maxime Rodriguez. Virtual safety car has been deployed, as Michael Gallian lost his front wing entirely. And Senzo Tabani uses the usual pit lane rules, brilliant pit stop, to go for the Inters. Karel Pulkkinen stays out, and it's the risky one, Marco Bottas as well. Pulkkinen with Bottas both wasted any chance of a race win to go to the pits during the racing. So I don't know what they hoped for a full safety car or for it not to rain, as Tabani gets a 3-second time penalty, but it doesn't really matter now. It's his 5 consecutive Balgos, and it's on a cruise way to win today's Grand Prix. This is definitely a crossover episode, because Inter drivers struggle to overtake unless DRS with the drivers, although and the medium drivers cannot drive anymore. So I'm wondering, where's Jacob Balgos? Jacob Balgos is, check this out, not losing time on Morgan Mathieu. Morgan Mathieu loses time to Jacob Balgos. And Lago goes for a double move down the inside of Mathieu as well, losing more time for him. And that is another 3/10 loss for the French driver. Lago still has DRS. It's still enabled. It still doesn't look like it's going to be wet weather conditions anytime soon. Lago goes for a move down the inside, slides a fair bit, but makes it for 3rd position. And now we'll be chasing down Jacob Balgos. Mathieu loses a place to Pulkkinen. And Conor Ryan goes for it as well on Morgan Mathieu, who is having massive trouble to get the traction. Massive trouble to get the traction, as even Nikolaidis makes a move on him. Lago is surprisingly backing out of any possible moves into turn 1. Now he uses the fact that Balgos got a mid-exit and makes a move on him. We say 3-second time penalty. Chaos in the midfield. Ryan goes for a move on Pulkkinen again for 4th place. Nikolaidis does the same. Although Karel Pulkkinen now should gain time, although Nikolaidis goes for a move on the AlphaTauri driver. There is a little bit of a contact, but nothing major. But it shouldn't look like a difficult pass for Lago to take the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix, although he's locking up by quite a lot. Although he's taken the lead of the Grand Prix, we still have 5 laps left. So now I'm waiting the sign that DRS is disabled. There's a massive contact between Ryan, Nikolaidis and Balgos, so these weather conditions are proving to be very difficult. Nikolaidis makes a move on Balgos. His wing has been involved in a bit of a story between him, Balgos and Nikolaidis. And now he's been overtaken with a great pass. As yellow flags in sector 3. This is the bunny who spun round, probably. Or he's gone low on fuel, he spun round. And this definitely losing him any chances of winning today, as Francesco Lago crosses the line to win for the first time in Ero F1. Panos Nikolaidis will finish 2nd place, but the Inter tires are showing that if the race lasted for like 3 laps more, we would have Tabani or Pulkkinen ahead of Lago. Mathieu finally has the redemption arc of a 4th place. Then we've got Tabani, but it's finally time to announce that the winner, the new winner on the cards of Ero history, is Francesco Lago, and he takes the W for the first time for the Williams. So 10 is the one to remember so far. As Lago with a win, Panos Nikolaidis on the podium again, and Karel Pulkkinen is back there as well. Quite a dramatic weekend so far around Spain and Catalonia, where we'll be having round 4 of European Racing Organization's PSF1 tier. We've seen quite a lot of drama in the lower tiers, one of them being posted in our TikTok, including 4 wide crashes and weird overtakes of all sorts. But for now, we just hope for a clean race. This time, it will be around Spain and Catalonia. 3 rounds of PSF1 so far this season were brilliant, and that easily means you could as well hit the like button and subscribe to the channel at the very start. Yes, I'm begging for this. For YouTube to decide which league actually to support. That's it from the beginning. My name is Wojciech. I am Ero PSF1 commentator for Season 10 and the owner of the entire league, which actually is doing pretty well, unlike the mentality stuff. But that's a story for another day. Anyways, let's look if the session is starting. It's not just yet, but it's going to. As remember that for the last 3 times around Ero PSF1, we've had rain. How about today? Today, the streak ends, as we are having beautiful dry weather, and it's all sunny in Spain. Wish it rained though, but that's fine still. So, we've got a couple of new drivers being joined in, and one of the legends of the chat of Ero is also there. Apart from, of course, the full-time drivers, we've got, for example, Jan Goring joining in the McLaren as a reserve driver from F2. This is the same lap Henry in Red Bull that you can see after with the PSR PlayStation tag, but they merged forces with Talent Factory, which was a bit of Ero history back in Season 8. And it's Snowca making his Ero PSF1 debut, at least this is what I believe, as he's turned offline and been doing some decent lap times around Spain. Duncan Falcon joining Alfa Romeo to replace Jacob Tucker today. Jets Rodenhouse in the McLaren, also having a debut, same as Semich Goy. And the one and only Brendan Gashi joining the Ferrari for today's race. Remember his PSF1 debut at Baku, which was a dramatic race with Engelian van der Linden drama going on throughout the ending parts of the race. Brendan Gashi was actually leading that race, and it wasn't due to lucky strategy. He was actually leading due to pure pace. I was second on the grid. In his debut with no line, first ever race, it's like he barely touches the game and already gets pole position lap times, and we'll see if this is true today, as he's the PSF2 Season 8 champion. He's got 2 appearances total in Season 9, but still some remarkable stuff. Scoring decent points in both occasions. As he's one of the drivers to start the lap. We've already seen a couple of drivers on the out laps going on already. Brandon Gashi is one of them to start it. Jericho Balgos already in Sector 2, his teammate from that record-breaking PSF2 Season 8, where these lads basically won all races bar 1, I believe, or 2 in Red Bull. Was about to cross the line though. That definitely isn't Maxime Rodriguez. It could be the Mercedes of Michael Engelian though, and that is correct, as he's got a pole position last season at the Spanish Grand Prix under wet conditions, ironically, by 2 milliseconds, and he's setting a time of 11.5. Jaco Balgos, 11.2 to place him on provisional pole ahead of Engelian and Rodriguez. Brandon Gashi about to end his lap, going full throttle on the final corner. Lepenru does a 10.7. Gashi goes 11.0 to place himself on the second, already doing great lap times. We're awaiting a couple more drivers to do their laps though. For example, Jean Goring, who's just approaching Sector 3. I believe the turn 9 has been made way easier this year compared to the last year. And we can already tell from the fact that everyone is going smoothly there. We've also seen the change compared to last game and last year of real Formula 1 action. You can tell this is no longer a chicane. We're just going straight through the old configuration of the track, as Goring goes third for 11.2, places him third on the grid. We also have to notice that both Sabaton and Lago are absent, which means, although Lago is leading the championship, getting his first win in Austria, this lead might shrink altogether today. But that all depends on the result that Lepenru gets, because let's be honest, he's got the the biggest chances to win today. But for example, we've got Gashi himself racing. We've got Panos Nikolaidis, who can also pull out a great result. We also got the two debut drivers of Jetser Rodenhouse and Sam Goyard, who's just crossed the line to get third place, 11.083. One of the Aston Martin drivers, that is Olano, goes to the pits. As for the pit lane regulations, you just cannot really touch anything behind, in front of this boilyard, and you're fine. As Nikolaidis started up second place last week, and a 10th ahead of Pulkinen at Austria in the dramatic changing weather conditions. You could watch the highlights before the Grand Prix, right as I started the stream, because that race was purely entertaining and I loved it. Nikolaidis now chasing down through Sector 1. We'll see his lap time and compare it quickly on Race Director to Lepenru. 21.5 is a difference of just a 10th to the pole sitters. Not even a 10th. Gashi currently separates the the Red Bulls, which kind of feels like real Formula 1 this season, as Leclerc can pull out a pole position or two during that. But of course in the race it's Max Verstappen winning by 30 seconds as Nikolaidis goes for 50.5. It shows it's a clear, it's a purple sector, but remember Nikolaidis on his first run, so I'm not so confident about it. If it's actually the purple sector, this game loves showing us something that doesn't really happen. We'll see if he goes full throttle. No, he's not, and that should lose him a massive bit of time. Yeah, it's going to be 11th, it's going to be 11.6, placing him on P12. Just get above Alfa Romeos. One of them, Duncan Falcon. Beautiful weaving out there, but he's gone to the pits. Also got a Mercedes of Engelion on the outlap. Got Memories of Spain looking to continue that this season as well. As currently, everyone but 3 drivers have made laps. Angelian starts his second run. He's the first one to make 2 laps today. At least this is what we're predicting, considering the fact that he's starting his second run really quick through the first 2 corners. There's a massive speed advantage compared to last game, and it feels brilliant. Unlike the driving standards in some places, he goes 10th up on his lap time. Not a pole position just yet, not even the fastest Sector 1, but the game still showed us purple. Now he has a Red Bull ahead of him, so we'll see. Yeah, he's giving the place there. I believe that could be Sam Goyard, as both Red Bulls are out on track already. Sliding there on the exit of turn 10, but Still is making the lap. We'll see if he actually finishes it or goes to the pits. I believe, yeah, he's going back to the pit lane, seeing that slide not really improving. Going back to the pits. Let's see who also is on a lap, because, for example, Zach Huber losing 7 tenths, not the greatest start of the qualifying session for him today. But he's already 2 tenths up. We'll see what happens after Sector 2. Full throttle throughout Turn 9, which is kinda easy on this game. He goes 3 tenths up on his lap time. You can tell no assist being a challenge for him a little bit. He's just about going to cross the line, but we could see the difference between his lap and Gashi's lap to place himself on P16. His teammate Carol Ryan, known for example for a move on both Aston Martins, on lap 18 of the Austrian Grand Prix. As Gashi goes 10.7, placing himself on the first slot on the grid. Le Pen was only 17 milliseconds faster. We could see a fight between a controller driver. Oh, Le Pen spins! And he's definitely not going to improve this one. He's still got chance for one more run though, so it's not over yet. But both Ferraris placing a massive competition for Le Pen and Sam Goyard as well. Le Pen was just joining the pit lane, using the old configuration, the old layout to go to the pits. Going on the 5th place, 11.2 is also massive for this F2 driver. As Orlando crosses the line to go 9th. Rodenhouse starts another run. Ryan goes 14th. Zach Huber goes to the pits. The second Red Bull off. Goyard starts a lap with a Haas driver right behind him. That is Ludwig Starberg to get himself into 5th. Ferrari is going to the pits. The second should be going to the pits as well. Yeah, that's correct. We say not about to cross the line, but we're focusing on him as one of the drivers who is actually the fastest pace-wise in Ero. Got a decent start in Belgium. Pulkinen goes 4th, just just a millisecond ahead of Goyard. We can really well and truly see a 10.5 today though. And I'm not exaggerating. Vise is not the one to set it, but only 5 milliseconds behind 4th place. This is already a really tight qualifying session. As more and more drivers are going to the pits, one of them being Pulkinen. More and more drivers are going on the lap now. As Falcon looks like he spun on the exit of turn 4, trying to rejoin the track and probably breaking his front wing in the process. Or maybe just being stuck on the curb. Yeah, definitely breaking his front wing. Resetting to track, but okay, it's fine in the qualifying. Rodriguez goes to the pits after trying to make a lap though. With 4 minutes to go in the qualifying. As the only driver not to set a lap time just yet is Chibuko Chukfuma, but he's going through the end of Sector 1. 21.73 tenths behind Le Penro's current fastest Sector 1. We haven't checked on Gashi's pole position, lap time and details. As Chibukem is about to cross the line to get a 12.0, exact same lap time as Snoka though, to get himself on position number 18. As we've got more and more drivers coming out on the final qualifying runs. For example, Visey is pushing through Sector 2 and I wonder what he's done there. Well, I think he could be reporting that for blocking, but I don't think there was any blocking there, in all fairness. Everyone just safely got out of the way, but this is a train of cars going on there. For example, yeah, let's watch it from Nikolaides' point of view. There's 4 cars just next to each other, even 6 of them in the same straight, which definitely explains why Visa could back out from his lap. There is a bit of a mess going on this particular part of the track, but I think all the drivers are standing up. For example, we've just seen Le Pen going on for his final run of the qualifying today, and I don't think he should meet any troubles on his way, unless on the final corners. Coming through turn 7 and 8, which was really clear. So far so good this lap is for Le Penro, as his teammate for today's race, Goyard, retires the session and will not improve any more laps. 40 milliseconds ahead, 40 milliseconds up on his lap time, Le Penro is. Can he push for pole position today? Well, definitely. It all depends on these final couple of corners. We've seen a McLaren probably retiring from the session there, or at least spinning ground, as Le Penro crosses line to get a 10.754. Did he set an equal lap time? Is Brendan Gashi going for a pole position today? Despite the fact that he's not finished a lap, Rodriguez goes for 10.9. Gashi really could be on pole position. Of all people, Gashi just like that goes for it. As Kalapulkinen, on his way to improve, is not improving. 11.1 keeps him 6. Goring is not improving as well. Olano invalidated his lap. Zachuber is in the pits. That's it! Gash is on pole position. Simply brilliant stuff. Simply brilliant stuff from Brandon Gashi, and this is totally unbelievable. The gap between pole position and second place is 18 milliseconds. As going on, third Rodriguez, fourth Vista is separated by 4 milliseconds, which is even closer. This is how tight this qualifying is. Pulkinen and Goliard are separated by a single millisecond. From first to 15th, it's within a second. And we've got 2 equal lap times on the 2 last places. Simply beautiful stuff going on in Spain in qualifying. Definitely something of usual in Ero. As we usually see a group of drivers going ahead the rest of the field, but it looks like not this time. We're about to start the Spanish Grand Prix though. Great result from the Ferraris, as they are first and fifth in the qualifying. We could see Jericho having a great result, going great for like half the race in Spain, but later troubles forced him down to the bottom of the standings. Still got a point, I believe, but we all focused on the action up front, as Jericho Balgos did not score a point, but it's P13 still. Yeah, he was going for a P5, so still great stuff. Lepenro's got 2 equal lap times at the end of for the qualifying session, at the same qualifying session, both at 10.754, and this did not give him a pole position. Gashi is basically on fire today, and he's looking to continue that during the race. Wow. So when are we starting? This is my question, because we sometimes have to wait a little bit longer than usual. My question is, when are we going? If I don't see anything, any lights out at 30, we'll have to restart the session. But still, we've already seen a story and a half of Gashi going on pole position. Either it may be by only 11 milliseconds, but it's still a wonderful story. As we're about to get going in the Spanish Grand Prix, it's 5 lights ahead of the drivers, and it's going to be lights out. Away we go. Gashi's getting a great start ahead of Lepenro, who's going to be behind Brandon, and the Ferrari driver is going on fire today. He's definitely cooking as they are side by side into turn 1. Will-to-will action going on there, which might not end well the best, but Gashi has to concede that position to the French driver, but still he's way ahead of every single other driver. And these two will definitely be focused on fighting each other today, although Gashi gets a massive snap of oversteer now. Still great qualifying lap time. Conor Ryan having troubles though at the back of the field. Apart from that, just a big DRS train going from 3rd to basically 18th, although second AlphaTauri is having troubles of Kai Zachuber, and he's probably going to be overtaken, yeah, that is correct, by Conor Ryan. We've seen a couple of position changes at the midfield, for example, and Gallian makes a move on Jetzer Rodenhouse. We can also see Red Bull of Sam Goyard going ahead of Visay. We have to check on the tires though, as the only soft runner is Ludwig Stahlberg. We've also got 5 medium runners in total, one of them being Brandon Gashi, who will definitely be one to watch today, as he's challenging Lepenru himself for the race win today. That is definitely happening, as Rodenhouse loses a place to Federico Orlando. Gashi goes for a move down the inside. Now side by side with Lepenru into turn 2, into turn 3 as well. They are not backing out each other. Into turn 4 as well. There might be something happening going on here, but Gashi, although he was going for a move into turn 1, not yet made it. Might have just overshot the braking point. He's going down the inside of Lepenru to take the lead of the Grand Prix. He's doing it into turn 6 and into turn 7. They are still well to well. This is not ending. This is not ending. This battle is still going on as Gashi goes ahead of Lepenru. Wonderful stuff from the Albanian driver to take the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, but I think Lepenru might fight back, as well as Rodriguez, as well as Goyard are watching this one. Lepenru side by side with Gashi, who goes down the inside. He keeps the inside lane. Lepenru going for a switchback. They are not backing out. This is proper racing going in Ero F1, as Rodriguez gets side by side with Goyard, but Gashi took the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. Goyard being a little bit forced off there, but I don't think that's penalty worthy just yet. Gashi with a wonderful stuff on lap 2. This is already sins so far in the Spanish Grand Prix. Lepenru goes well to well with Gashi again. And this time, Gashi defended the position. It's not looking like it's going to be a side-by-side battle again between these two drivers, but it's wonderful stuff going on in this particular race. There's a bit of contact between Rodriguez and Goyard, and Rodriguez lost the place to the Red Bull driver. Balgos following that stuff going on from the 5th place, but we'll focus on the top 2 today, as these two are putting in a fight and a half. And I think Lepenru's not backing out at any opportunity, although he might have to wait, as the virtual safety car has been deployed following Conor Ryan's crash. Unfortunate for the driver who's just got a P5 at the very start of the Grand Prix. Or at the last week's Austrian Grand Prix, sorry for that one. We haven't got any penalties so far. Let's see position changes, as 4 places up is what Sam Goyard has done into this race. But seriously, brilliant from both Gashi and Lepenru. Racing we love to watch at all times. I did not expect that to happen. As I believe we'll be having green flag soon if Zach Huber wants to make a cheaper pit stop. This is his opportunity, but I think he will be looking to try and reduce the gap while the yellow flags are still on, since all the drivers have to follow the queue and the delta of 5 seconds is a usual thing. Zach Huber doesn't have this issue though. Gashi still leads the Grand Prix, still virtual safety car is up. Drive-through penalty for both Red Bulls! Both Red Bulls are having a drive-through penalty. This is a disaster for the entire team. Now Lepenru will have to perform a recovery drive. Not the greatest weekend for Red Bull, not only not leading the race for the Paradox Sim Racing driver, but also a drive-through, as we can confirm that, yeah, that is correct. Both Red Bulls with a drive-through penalty, and will have to go to the pits and fight back from the very back of the field. Even maybe behind Zach Huber. That is a disaster for both Red Bulls. Watching as Ludwig Stahlberg tries to use his soft tires, capitalize on them to make a move on Visay. When the Red Bull drivers will go to the pits, I believe this is the best opportunity to do it now. As Goyard, well, you're not getting that removed because he clearly cut the pit lane entry line. As Stahlberg goes ahead of Visay, and Lepenru, well, playing psychological games as he's overtaken Gashi into turn 1. Gashi knows that he's on the great way to win the race today, as Pulkkinen is, for whatever reason, caught out in a spin. We'll have to check on what's happened. It's another virtual safety car being deployed, which looks like FIA wouldn't like to give us a full safety car. And if Lepeno gets a second drive-through, or Gashi gets a drive-through, that would be scenes already. That would be scenes already. Rodriguez is just waiting for something to happen to win the race today. That's it. Maybe even Stabek getting his first podium. Although we have to count on the on Ludwig's strategy. Gashi just burning as much fuel as he can. As Virtual Safety Car is still on track. Goyard returned, and he's really lucky to just have these 3 seconds of time penalties. I know I'm breaking my principle of not showing the time penalties until the race ends, as I want to be surprised a little bit with the result. The pen will have to go for one more lap, and he's not going to save his drive-through. I don't think it should get him disqualified. There is another drive-through. There is 4! There is no way there's full drive-through penalties. There is full drive-through penalties in total. I'm not having that. This is a disaster. This is a disaster of not following the delta from the drivers, or maybe even the game glitches. I don't know what's happening. But if this keeps going on, we might see entire grid having an additional drive through the pits at this point. And I don't have anything against that. Rodenhouse, Falcon, Lepeno, Goyard, 4 drivers will have to already did serve the drive-through penalty in just today's ERPS F1 Spanish Grand Prix. Lepeno goes off track there. I think he's trying to avoid a warning though, as Balgos is fighting Ludwig Stabek there into turn 10, but I don't think anything is going on there. Yeah, Ludwig Stabek is just following the 2 drivers that are ahead of him. Now is Lepeno going to the pits, and Gashi is definitely thinking out. No, Lepeno keeps going, and I think this might get him disqualified. And I think he's still going. I think this is the lap where he's going to the pits, because he's not slowing down. If he was disqualified, he would be slowing down definitely, as Stabek makes a move on Balgos. Is he going for a move on Rodriguez? He's going, he's diving into turn 1, which was too close for comfort for both drivers. Still, no disaster just yet, but Stabek's on fire as well, looking for a place to attack Rodriguez. Maybe even turn 4, which I believe would be way too risky, and he thinks better of it. And that is correct, as these 4 drivers in total, 5 drivers, have left everyone else behind. I wonder how quick will Sam Goyard catch up, as Rodenhouse and Falcon both served the drive-through penalties. Now they will be chased down by Zachhuber and Pulkinen. And Zachhuber is gaining quite a lot on Rodenhouse. Now, Lepeno, I just want to notify you that if you don't go to the pits now, you're getting disqualified, and I will not restore the lobby for you, because, well, it's kind of your responsibility to serve the drive, not mine. It will be a 20-second time penalty, but it only applies for the end of the Grand Prix, as Lepeno actually goes to the pits to serve his driver penalty. Disaster for the Red Bull driver. Now I'm wondering how many places will he be able to fight back, as he's rejoining the track on P13, way ahead of his teammate Goyard at least, as Stabek makes a move on position number 2 on Rodriguez. No Cab making a move on Nicolaides as well. Side by side Balgos and Rodriguez as well. Balgos cuts a bit, goes ahead of Rodriguez for the 3rd place. Ferrari are potentially going for 1-2. Why do I say 1-2? Because Stauberg is on soft tires, and his strategy is relied on safety cars. Which, to be fair, because of the 2 virtual safety cars that we've already got, is not helping him. We've got 2 virtual safety cars already. I'm getting a ton of notifications now, and I don't know what's happening. Balgos is chasing down Ludwig Stabek now to get into 2nd place. Easy overtake by the Ferrari. Ferraris are basically cooking. Brandon Gashi is already over 3 seconds ahead of his teammate. his teammate might just help him to get that W, which was utterly possible in first two races that Brandon Gashi's got in PSF1 tier. Not maybe the second one, but definitely the first one. As he's finished, I'm telling you now, 5th on the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Yellow flags in sector 3 are caused by Kaiser Huber. And also 6th place to the fastest lap in Brazil for Brandon Gashi, which clearly shows what kind of potential he has. And as I said, he was leading that Azerbaijan Grand Prix last season. Now he's leading as well. Worst thing is, Jacob Algos slightly regaining on him. Which isn't what Ferraris were looking for. Maybe even try and make the gap even bigger now, as Le Penrose is currently 13th in the standings, as I said. The gap between him and the rest of the field is 5.2 seconds. Ennis gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, as he's a full no-assist driver now. He's going to take some time to adapt to it, as Olanu is fighting Engelian and makes a move on Engelian. Also, both Williams drivers are involved in the fight a little bit, as Visay lost the position to Noka, and the gap between Le Penrose and the rest of the field even increased during the DRS straight. But remember, this is DRS, so in fact, this is where you actually lose when you don't have DRS. But during the corner sections, you can tell by how much Le Penrose is gaining. He's gained like half a second into sector 1, as we'll be controlling the gap, considering the fact that the top 2 are just being to the top 2. Ludwig Starbeck is not having the tires, the freshest tires now. Le Penrose already 4.5 behind. It's going to be a little bigger now of the gap, but still he's regained 4/10. If he regains a full second lap, I think he might be on course to even get into like 5th place, which I know doesn't satisfy him, but already adds more drama to this race. He's got 4 drivers total to get the driver penalty, as Starbeck retakes 2nd place on Balgos. But I think Balgos is not giving this one up. He's almost full throttle throughout turn 3. He could use ERS and force Ludwig to be side by side into turn 4. He's not doing that just yet. But I think we might see a move on the next DRS trait. Not the turn 9, but on the main straight, of course. As following Le Penrose, now regaining just a 10, but I think he might have lost massive time due to DRS strain. Yeah, he's already gaining 3/10. He's rejoining this pack very quick. The gap between the Gashi and 2nd place is 3.5 seconds already. 3.6. Going to be 3.7, considering the fact that Balgos will definitely try and make a move on Starbeck, who's got 20 less percent of ERS, but Balgos is caught in trouble. Little bit of a slider, which might not only not let him gain a position on Starbeck, but also lose a place to Rodriguez into turn 1. They are almost wheel to wheel, but I think Rodriguez is going to back out of that move, and he is. And it's Balgos going for a move on Starbeck. We didn't see that from this camera angle, but he's made it. And this loses even more time for these drivers. Gashi is on 4.3 seconds already. We're following this gap very closely, as you might know the history is happening, as the PSF2 Season 8 champion is on his way to win in PSF1 as well. And his just 3rd occasion in this tier. As especially considering the fact that he's not league racing much, if at all, if any, apart from ERO. Maybe he's doing some leagues like GRS as well, but I'm not sure. He's not on the grid every week in any league. As Le Penrose already loses less than 3.5 seconds to the DRS pack. And Chibuika Jukfuma is helping him to lose even more time, as he's chasing down Ennis Noka. I think he might be making a move on him, because Noka is having a bit of a trouble to stay in DRS, as we've got a fight again into turn 1, Rodriguez now makes a move on Stallberg. This time he's second. This time he makes this pack lose another half a second to Gashi. And he's well and truly ahead of Stallberg. Now Bargos will have to look for a move on Stallberg as soon as possible if he doesn't want to lose the touch to Rodriguez and try and maybe retake that second place. Rodriguez still is waiting for his first Ero PSF1 podium since Season 5 days. He's got the first pole position since Season 5, and now we're already taking his first podium since Season 5. I'm not looking just yet for the victory now, because he's 5 seconds behind Gashi, and he's losing this time. I know Gashi's on mediums. If you want Gashi to win, you can just hit the like button right now. But seriously, Brandon is just on another league. If there's anyone to match his pace now, that is this guy in P13. Because he's got a drive-through penalty. He's chasing down the field though. Think he's going to make moves sooner than later. He might even catch them into the DRS on lap 16. I'm also given a 5-second time penalty, by the way. Because Cameron Droughts tries to join PCF1 lobby, by the way, and called me a commentator of that race, but I'm commentating PCF1. This is just a little bit of a fun fact. Can anyone check what's going on the Discord server, which, by the way, is in the description, because I'm not quite entirely sure what's going on there. I'm focused on my own part, which is Lepenro trying to chase down the rest of the field. He's already 1.9 seconds. I believe he's going to be 1.8 seconds. No, he's losing time. He's losing 10th. Puma. I don't think any overtakes are happening anytime soon. And top group, but I'm following the gap, and I think this is the right time to switch the attention. Sorry, to this group. It wasn't the right time though, as Bargos didn't overtake. Unlike Visay, who's just made the move on Nikolaitis. But Nikolaitis is looking for a move on Visay, not probably now. We follow the gap between Lepenro and Chukwuma though. Because Enes is about to be out of DRS of Morgan Mathieu. Decent last week in Austria after troubles on the first 2 races. As Bargos is really closing down on Rodriguez. Rodriguez goes to the pits for probably medium tires, definitely not soft. They're not going to make it. As Goyard gets another physical time, I believe he's going to the pits. Don't think he's retiring just yet, but I don't know how he's getting physical time penalties in the pits. Noka has been just overtaken by Chiwegu Chukwuma, who's had enough of sitting behind the Williams driver and seeing his DRS go away. Now he's going to chase down the DRS pack, and I think that's possible to happen. Now, Lepenro's in DRS of Noka. Gap between Ferrari is 6 seconds. This is what I want to note as well. Gashi is on pure domination today. Only something like 3 late safety cars or sudden rain may stop him from winning today. This will be a tough challenge though to do so. As Chiwegu Chukwuma gets a physical time penalty, don't know how he's got it, don't know how he's gone off track there. But he's got that physical time penalty. There's a carnage! There is carnage, there's a crash, and I think this is Ludwig, did you just try to go to the pits and yeeted yourself from the racing process? And Gallian's not having weak damage, but got 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Stahlberg. Which I might be reviewing the footage though, as I believe Gallian is streaming the race as usual. Where you can watch him doing, celebrating wins, if happens, and or raging at every single loss. Let's see what happened there. I'm having the access to the footage. Did Stahlberg just... Yeah, he did try to go to the pit, overshot it, spun himself, and Gallian got a penalty for non-existent collision. And you know what, Michael, I think you should just go to the pits for medium tires. And he's doing it because he's just accepted the strategy. As every of the top 4 drivers goes to the pits. Now Michael will have to serve his 5-second time penalty. I believe Goring has gone on for the medium tires. Yeah, these are the only 3 drivers that didn't pit. And worse, Balgos was on a double stack. How did Michael Gallian get the penalty there? He's going to rejoin on P6, which is still fine. As why did one of the Kalpulkina did go to the pits for whatever reason? Now Rodriguez ahead of Gallian, as I predicted, 6th place, well ahead of the rest of the field, which may as well involve him in a carnage or help him get the race podium today. Both sides are possible. Lepenro still P12. Will also monitor himself as the French driver having troubles after drive-through already. I think he's going to chase down everyone now, using the fact that there is no DRS for the first 2 laps. And indeed, Ludwig Stahlberg got caught in a bump. So, if Codemasters are listening, there is a bump on the pit lane entry, and we want it to be fixed. As Le Pen rejoins the pack, ahead behind him, Sam Goyard. How is Duncan Falcon going? Because he hasn't got any attention today, apart from one spin in qualifying. Pulkinen even didn't get attention. Rodenhouse will just rejoin the pack at the back. This race is chaotic itself already. I think Balgos may just try and do a miracle. Olano is on the course for a podium as well. Is this the Ferrari 1-2 today? Well, that depends on Le Pen and only him, to be fair. And how quickly is he going to rejoin the pack? Not only car goes through, but also we've got Gasly in the race. Quick review of the standings. Can Aurelien Penro retake the lead of the championship today? No. Will Francesco Lago stay as a leader of the championship after today? Definitely. 100%. There is no mathematical equation, because Panos Nicolaitis does already have pole position. He would have 55 points at most after this weekend. Best that can happen, as I'm watching, for Le Pen is just going second. There's a battle for the second place in the championship, but Francesco Lago is missing not only this week, but next week, which equals with Le Pen's double chance to win the races and get ahead of Lago. especially considering the fact that he has advantage over Lago in the race they rest in, which is third place for Lago in Belgium and first for Le Pen in the Belgium as well. Then Le Pen missed 2 races, Lago got second and first. If he won that race, that would be just 10 points of a gap at best. But now, Lago is definitely going to lead the championship. Because someone on the second would have to get 35 points at least to have a chance of overtaking Lago after Dutch Grand Prix. As Gashi is gone now, we've got the safety car restart. Balgos is really close. Are they going to fight for the race win? Or are they working for a Ferrari 1-2? Or one of them, or sacrificing one of them to get the victory today? For the other, I think they are just going next to each other as Goring goes for a move on for Olanu. But this doesn't really happen as Goring thinks better of it, keeps himself behind. Rodriguez is definitely going to make a charge on him for the 4th place, using the ERS power that he's got, but it's not enough to make an overtake today, at least on lap 20. No overtake so far, apart from Le Penro, who made a move on Noka already, and now Goyert is going to make a move on him soon. He was looking for a send, but didn't send it. As the top 2 drivers have already... Gashi is already a second ahead of Olano, but it's not big. We'll see it after a couple of laps. It all will depend on how Balgos is doing with keeping up with his teammates' pace. As Goyert indeed overtook Noka for position number 12. Now Le Pen will be chasing down Chukfuma, slightly braking there in the final corner, which not always is full throttle, but it's potentially full throttle. 0.4 of a second between Gashi and Balgos, but it's already over a second of a gap between them and Olanu. And we've seen an overtake of Rodriguez, actually of Evangelion on Rodriguez. Place the Mercedes driver on the 5th, now he'll be chasing down John Goring for position number 4. Although Rodriguez, that was really close between him and Evangelion. And it's Noka losing a place, this time to Dunkel for Kun. Rodriguez almost missing a braking point and smashing to the back of Evangelion. As the Pen will be chasing down Chibuya and Chifuma. He's already right behind him on his gearbox. I think he's chasing that point at least. Every single point counts in this championship. Is he going to send it down the inside? Well, it looks like so, and he does send it. That was a cautious type of send. Just trying to take inch by inch in this send, in this dive down the inside, but Chibuya Chifuma stays ahead of Le Penru. Now Le Penru trying to perform a switchback, but that didn't perform switchback. Now he's having the DRS, not DRS advantage, but ERS advantage on the straight. Makes a move on Chibuike, little bit of a contact, 10th place for Le Penru. Now his target is Morgan Mathieu, and then all the drivers ahead. How many positions can Le Penru make into this race? That is the most important question of the day, as after the drive-through he's been moved back to all the way to P13. Now he's P10 after the safety car restart, which he started on P12. P13, sorry, because Ennis. Ronhouse losing a bit of pace on the rest of the field. Noka is creeping closer. And the Ferraris looks like they will be trying to sort it out between themselves. Would you expect that? Maybe after Season 8, but definitely not after Season 9. That Jericho Balgos and Brendan Gashi would just keep fighting for the race win in PSF1. As Rodriguez overtook Engelian. Visa is really close as well. Chukfuma losing now 2 places on both Alfa Romeo drivers. Don't know what happened there. He's going to the pits. I think this is it for him today. Because it didn't look like he's getting wing damage. Le Penrose got into 9th. And Engelian got into 5th. Gaining a place on Rodriguez. Now I'm wondering what happened to Chukfuma, who's going on soft, which might suggest that he's going for a fastest lap today, but I don't remind myself of watching on the minimap that he could get a wing damage for any situation. As the Penrose gets a purple sector 1 in the traffic, in the middle of the traffic, which shows massive pace of these guys. Although he's just getting the position on Morgan. We'll be chasing down more drivers. Rodriguez with 3-second time penalty doesn't help him in terms of a podium fight. Would you, by the way, expect that? Gashi, Balgos, Olano on the podium. As Rodenhouse gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Morgan follows Lepenru, but not close enough in order to make a move. Lepenru will just wait for better opportunities because he's just 5 tenths behind the pack. Started by Gallian adding up on Nicolaides. Rodriguez will definitely risk it and go for a move. As Ferrari drivers are fighting, at least it was close from fighting. 100% Rodriguez made a move on Gallian. Again. But it looks like Jacob Balgos, knowing that Brandon Gashi is knowing that these two are not going to work for the win, they are now going to sort out the win between themselves. So Brandon Gashi is not 100% safe about the win. Balgos is not going to sacrifice himself at all. Especially considering the fact that he's 2 seconds ahead of Olano. Now, Visay is on the way to try and make a move on Engelian. Engelian having a massive landing on the curb. On the sausage mobile thingy. This lost him a bit of time. Also, Visay had to watch out. As the Belgian driver, well, he now has a chance because Engelian's out of DRS of Rodriguez. So I definitely think this is the time that he makes a move on the Mercedes. He's not using any ERS, but he needs to make a move if he wants to be within Rodriguez DRS. And he's going to be within Rodriguez DRS. And Engelian goes for a move on Lepenru, sorry, goes for a move on Engelian as well. They are side by side into turns 2 and 3. As Lepenru is the one inching ahead of Engelian to get into 7th place. He's definitely 6th as of now, considering Rodriguez's penalty for track limits. But we know his ambition is purely to win. But best he can do now is P3 as of now. Both Ferrari drivers having equal levels of ERS. As lap 26 is upon us, but 100% sure is that Ferraris are well and truly on a 1-2. Are well and truly, yes. I've seen Rodriguez going off track there. Visay is using this to make a move on him for position number 5. Well, 4 of the F2 drivers of season 8, 9 and 10, because Gashu as well, we know that he's won a championship in season 8. Balgos was 3 times second, as Rodriguez is spun round in turn 3, and I thought this is the time that he's finally getting points after 2 races of drought, but it looks like it isn't. Chupuma's already a minute behind. What's going on there as well? That's interesting. Would you be wondering that 4 of the F2 drivers from recent seasons are actually going to be top 4 FF1? They could use line there. Goring has switched recently. Olano moved to long line at the end of season 8. Balgos stayed in season 9 with line on, just turning it off in F1 23. And Brandon Gashi is racing once every 2 or 3 months, if he can. And he's maybe even the only appearance of the season. He may as well win, although Balgos is chasing down him now. To make the matters close between these 2 drivers, not close enough for a fight. Balgos definitely using the fact that he's on mediums, and he has to push. They are still a bit faster. Also, Rodriguez, come on, why did you reset to track? Especially up there, you just got yourself 3 penalty points for no reason. I'm reporting that. I know you're desperate. Come on, just get the fastest lap at this point, or hope for a safety car. The gap between Olano and Balgos is already 3 seconds. A little bit of help is the fact that Balgas has DRS, Orlando doesn't. Le Pen already having cruised with no ERS. As there is also a massive train starting from 7th to 12th. Duncan focus on course for the points. Well, that's interesting. As Le Pen is going to chase down Visay to position number 5, but it's got no ERS, so he probably waits for what happens up front. As Balgas is again close to Brandon Gashi, but not close enough to even think of a move. Half a second. Well, if it was a Monza corner, like, he would be definitely going for a move. He isn't. As Maxime Rodriguez, I believe that's it for today. Yep. Alpine called it a day for the only driver on the grid. Should have been Dia, but he's got issues with his equipment, so he cannot race. He couldn't race. With not even 6 laps to go. I'm not... Just tell me that I'm not watching PSF2 by accident. Because Brandon Gashi is just dominating everyone. Yellow flags in Sector 1 caused by Rodriguez, who's just getting out of the pit lane. Although he's just retired. Duncan Falcon's out of the race, and that calls out a full late safety car. Now, what are the Ferrari drivers going to do? As Morgan Mathieu uses this opportunity to pit. And I definitely think these are soft tires. Now, this race has gone crazy now. Goyard gets a physical penalty during the safety car as well. Noka, I believe, is going for the soft as well. What if I spoiled the penalties a couple of times today? So it doesn't matter. You have 3 seconds to see what are the time penalties. 1, 2, 3. And these are the tires. Noka and Morgan Mathieu on the softs. And it started to be a little bit cloudy, but I do not think it's going to rain. There is no chance for rain today. Now it's like in 2 minutes. My question is Balgos going to bid or Gashi? And I think that definitely Noka and Mathieu are going to send it. Also, Chibukem, you have a golden chance to rejoin the pack in these couple of laps and you decide to pit. Gashi is not pitting. Congratulations, you just lapped yourself. Why? He's gone for the softs again, but he's lapped now. He's not going to have any chance of getting points. And no unlapping is a thing in this game. More drivers pitted though, as we can definitely tell by examples of Engelian, Pulkinen, Rodenhouse. Don't know what Nikolaitis is doing. As this race has turned chaotic in the couple of final laps. Nikolaitis has got his whole front wing. I believe he had to follow the delta. How many places can Mathieu get? He can get ahead of Pulkinen, that's it, at most. And he's not even that. We've got 3 final laps of today's Grand Prix potentially being racing, but I think it's going to be just 2. Also, Chibukem, really? You really had to make yourself lapped for the soft tires? Couldn't you wait 1 more? You would be like 30 seconds behind the pack, not a minute. I mean, you can at least get the fastest lap, but you have to let everyone pass, because otherwise it's penalty points. Chibukem is negotiating if he could unlap himself. We're getting not 3, 2 laps of racing. I don't think the top 3 is going to stay the same. I think that everyone is going to change a position. I know that the racing standards are going downhill as the most lenient wording for that, and all the esports stuff. So we'll try to and be like esports for this one race. But we at least have an excuse of final 2 laps. You just risk it. And Gashi, the F2 champion, is on his way to win, despite not even trying. He's burning as many fuel as he can. This is definitely going to be a sprint. Just 2 laps of racing are upon us. If safety car glitches and it stays out till the end, we just count the results as they are right now. Because it's just 2 laps. But I don't think there is going to be any glitches, because PlayStation glitches, PlayStation lobbies only are doing well. It's the crossplay ones that are going weird, at least. Okay. Final 2 laps of racing. And the top 8 is on old tires. The rest is on new tires. Chibueko Chikuma lapped himself. And he cannot unlap himself. Brandon Gashi will probably start as soon as safety car goes to the pits. This is also how much Ichak and PCF2 restarted the race, so don't tell me about lack of driver standards in PCF2. But regardless, Gashi's pushing. We are racing again for the final 2 laps of Spanish Grand Prix in Ero F1. Balgos is closing down on Gashi. Although Gashi got a good restart. Got a little bit of a slipstream. Now Chibuko Chikuma, I hope he lets everyone pass. Maybe tries to get some kind of slipstream from Engelion as well. For Engelion, sorry. No overtakes just yet. But I can already tell that Tantam with Anthony Vise is close on Jan Goring. And Olano is close on Balgos as well. Might try and break this 1-2 for the Ferraris. Which already is a dream weekend for these guys. But there's still 1.5 laps to confirm that. And Gaia already got ahead of Nikolaidis. And I think Pulkin is going for a move soon. Same as Engelion on Goyard. He's making that move around the outside into turn 10 successfully. Although Goyard was really close, losing nearly the car in the process. And that makes Pulkin go through, as Engelion is side by side with Lepenru. He's overtaken the PSF1 champion. The double PSF1 champion has been overtaken and will definitely not improve his result today from the 6th place that he was in during the safety car restart. Engelion on the charger, the half, maybe even for the podium. He's now side by side with Antoni Vise, and he's now going down the inside of John Goring. This will not end well, as Goring is spun, and Engelion is up into 4th. As I believe Noka has been involved in the drama as well. I've seen the other Williams. That is Vise going off. And Gillian just sent it, and I think he sent it way too much on the final lap. They've just satisfied himself with Vise and then try to get maybe even Jan Goring. Chibuko Chikuma has overtaken a couple of drivers already, which is illegal if you are actually faster than them. As Engelion will definitely go down the inside, around the outside of Olano, goes for the move as well on the podium places, might even read the 1-2 for the Ferrari. He's definitely ahead of the Aston Martin driver. Pulkinen joins the charge, and although Brendan Gashi wins, this is a charge and a half from Michael Engelion. Definitely that incident will be reported between him, Vise, and Engelion as well. He was very close from finishing second on the grid today. Brendan Gashi takes the win for the first time in his Ero PSF1 career. Just referencing to what happened in PSF2, which is basically him or Jericho winning every single race. Give Engelion one more lap and he wins that. What a charge! Still, we have to review the report that is potentially coming. Brilliant racing from Van Gelden, though. I mean, this last lap overtake in turn 1, I think this will be definitely under investigation. But Brandon Gashi, although he was on the spotlight for the most of the race, on the final laps, Van Gelden just stole the show. As these are the official results of today. Brandon Gashi wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Jericho Balgos is second. And Gallian is third. Pulkinen, Olanu, Lepenru, Nikolaidis, Mathieu, Noka, Rodenhouse even picks up a point. Then we've got Goyard, Visey. We've got also Goring on the 13th. The disaster for the driver who's going for 4th. Tribuka Chukuma gets a fastest lap at least. And then we've got 5 drivers who DNF'd. That was chaos around Spain. I mean, once a season, we can have that. Because why not? We can just go like lower standards possible. Let's just have this one race when everything goes wild. Usually PSF1 is clean. Belgium, 1 report. Britain, 1 report. And Austria, 0 reports. Now there's going to be a couple of those at least. As I'm inviting the drivers in the conference room. As well, simply, where is this? Yeah, there we go. Where is the scene? I was looking for a scene though. And we've already got the winner himself, Brandon Gashi.
Hello.
Congratulations, just that.
Thanks. You're right, Wadji.
Blood. I mean, we're streaming, so keep it formal, please.
Oh, of course, of course.
But seriously, how many hours do you spend on F1 game per week?
0. This is my first F1 race. Well, in this new game. This is my first race.
Like a league race? Because I know you're doing 5 lappers, TDs, and
No, I don't do 5
time trials and stuff.
This was my first race, yeah.
Nah, this
I think
guy,
I had like 100 hours in the game.
this guy is doing F1 esports challenges this year.
Mate, I'm on the controller.
least.
I'm not doing challenges.
You're doing challengers.
I'm not doing challenges.
You're doing challengers. Now, this is. How are you faster than the challenger of last year then?
I'm not. Like, Ace probably would have won. So it was just lucky, you know, that he got the drive-through, or whatever you call it.
Yeah. But seriously, I gotta tell you, between you and Balgos, was there teamwork, or were you trying to sort it between yourselves?
Mate, we were Red Bull teammates last season, and now we're Ferrari teammates now. So we were just teaming together. We were working together.
Yeah, so no sorting went out between yourselves.
Nah, we said at the end we can fight. Jericho was on the medium, so like bad tire to be on at the end.
But seriously, we've got your teammate there joining. And in all fairness, does Jericho confirm that you were working toward the win, or did you want to take that win yourself?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the question. Like lagged out there.
Again, we need you to confirm if you were actually working together or trying to sort out the win between yourselves and not caring who comes.
Oh, work together. Yeah, he had better pace. I think my plan was to just stay ahead of Folly behind me, and that's what we done. And I think, even though I was on mediums for the start of the stint, I knew my tires would die, so like Bash would be fast anyway. Even like raw pace in general, he was fast. I think we were just working together and making sure like we secured the 1-2.
No, that's massive. That's massive from you, and also the charge from Engelion. Like, this race was wild.
Hello. It was.
Although we know you've made the charge to the third, what happened between Jan Goring, Anthony Visey, and Michael Engelion? We need to know.
Into the last lap, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, run out of space. I would have went on the sausage curve. I couldn't go any more right, unfortunately. And at some point, the McLaren also had to turn in, actually. And yeah, I think there was a Williams on the left also, no?
Yeah, Visey.
Yeah, 3 wide, turn 1 is not going well. And I'm sorry, Crystal, but yeah. I mean, I was so much on the inside, and it was unfortunate.
He left the party, man. He was mad.
Yeah, I mean, this race in general was just pure madness.
Mm.
And this is all I've got to tell today. I thought this was just going to be Brendan Gushie wins by 25 seconds, quite literally.
I was hoping, man, but the safety car ruined it.
It was close. That safety car, I got so lucky. Both Red Bulls got a drive through. The safety car came out when Max did in front of me. I was behind Bashi. All I had to do was not bottle. And that's what I done. Nearly did on the second last lap. I had no rear into the left, right of sector 3, but I didn't realize Stepper was in soft as well. And I was like, wait, why is he so close behind me?
Yeah, I couldn't. I was running a little bit less downforce, and I couldn't just. I don't wanted to crash the both of us out in the last 2 corners, because I was happy with coming up to P3, obviously, and that was the best for today. Because I also got a 5-second penalty for basically nothing, because another driver couldn't make the pit lane entry, the famous pit lane entry in Spain. Yeah, and that I don't. I'm not sure who of the Haas driver it was, but I touched the rear wing a tiny bit when he spun out, and I got a penalty for. And yeah, couldn't remove it because I had to make my pit stop, obviously, and yeah.
And short, do you have anything else to add, or are we happy to stop down there? Because that race was madness itself already, and I loved every single bit of it. Considering the fact that I wasn't thinking the greatest of Ero recently. Now, I know there wasn't the greatest of driver standards. I acknowledge that. Especially, but at least it's fine considering what happens elsewhere. And it was fun to watch, really. So, in short, thank you for watching. I'm just calculating who's getting the top of the standings without Lago, because Lago was not racing here, but he keeps the lead of the championship this season. Still. But Ennis 9th and Rodenhouse 10th. That makes it. Who's got pole position, by the way? Gashi, of course.
Bashi, yeah.
And fastest lap was Chukfuma.
Oh, it's Jibs. Oh, that ghost was so annoying, bro. I lost like a whole 1.5 seconds of Bashi because I couldn't see anything. Oh, madness.
Oh, well, no, fuck it.
He asked me during the last safety if he can unlap himself. Isn't there an option in the game settings to let cars by? There isn't, okay. That's bad.
I mean, I've seen it a couple of times that it was displayed, but it was just a placeholder. But that's about it.
They didn't add this by now. Yeah, okay.
Alright, well, GG's, boys.
GG's.
Right, GG's.
And that's it for today's stream as well. Like and subscribe if you really want to next week, Netherlands. Bye bye.
Don't like and subscribe.
If you want Bashi to win, then like and subscribe.
Mwah, goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, nobody will like now.